Seeing that they were jealous of me, I paid strict attention to everything, so as not to make any mistake in doing my work, and let them have the satisfaction of laughing at me. I would not give them the chance. I heard Her Majesty talking to the eunuchs, who looked after the garden, about some branches which ought to be cut down, saying they were lazy. So we went to her. She said to us, "You see, I have to look after everything myself, if not my flowers would be ruined. I can't depend on them at all. I wonder what they are good for. They ought to look around every day and cut down the dead branches and leaves. They have not been punished for several days, and they are looking forward to it." She laughed and said, "I will not disappoint them, but give them all they wish to have." I thought these people must be idiots, looking forward to a whipping, and wondered who would whip them. Her Majesty turned to me and said, "Have you ever witnessed such an operation?" I told her that I had, having seen the convicts being whipped at the magistrate's Yamên when I was a little girl living in Shanxi, on the Yangtze. She said, "That is nothing. The convicts are not half so wicked as these eunuchs. Of course they deserve a heavier punishment when they are bad." Her Majesty said that I should learn to play dice with her, as she never had enough people to play with, so we went back to the same room where she had taken her lunch. A square table was in the middle of this large room, and a little throne of Her Majesty's, facing south, her favorite direction. Her Majesty sat on her throne and said to me, "I will show you how to play this game. Do you think you know enough Chinese to read this map?" I noticed a large map, the same size as the table, and laid upon it, drawn in different colors. In the center of the map was written the direction of the game. It said, "This game is called 8 Fairies Travel Across the Sea." The names are Lü Xian, Zhang Xian, Li Xian, Lan Xian, He Xian, Cao Xian, and Han Xian. These 7 were masculine fairies. He Xian was the only lady fairy. This map was the map of the Chinese Empire, and the names of the different provinces were written on the drawing. There were 8 pieces of round ivory, about 1 inch and a half in diameter and a quarter of an inch thick. The names of these fairies were engraved upon them. This game could be played either by 8 people or 4 people, when each person had to take 2 fairies' places instead of 1. A porcelain bowl was placed in the center of the map, to compare the point by throwing 6 dice into the bowl. For instance, 4 people play. One throws these 6 dice into the bowl and counts the points on them. The highest that one could get was 36, and should 36 be thrown, the fairy should go to Hangzhou to enjoy the beautiful scenery. This person threw dice for Lü Xian and had 36 points, and placed this ivory piece of Lü Xian on Hangzhou upon the map. The same person has to throw another time for another fairy, so each person throws twice if 4 people play the game, and once if played by 8. These different points count different provinces. They are counted thus: 6 dice alike, 1 pair in 6 dice, to 3 pairs. The lowest was the double 1, 2, 3. If any unfortunate fairy got this, he should go on exile and be left out altogether. Any one of the fairies that traveled round the map to reach the Imperial Palace, the first, was the winner. I read this to Her Majesty. She seemed to be quite pleased, and said, "I had no idea that you could read so well. This game was my own invention, and I thought 3 court ladies to play. I had a very hard time teaching them. I also taught them how to read Chinese in order to play the game, but it took them so long to learn anything that I got quite discouraged before I got through with them. I am sure you know how to play it now." I was very much surprised to hear that these court ladies were as ignorant as this. I thought they must be excellent scholars, so did not dare to show my knowledge of Chinese literature. We began to play the game. Her Majesty was lucky. The 2 fairies held by her were way ahead of ours. One of the court ladies said to me, "You will be surprised to see that Lao Tzu Tsung is always the winner." Her Majesty smiled and said to me, "You will never be able to catch my fairies." She said, "You are the first day here to play this game, and if any of your fairies beat any of mine, I will give you a nice present, so hurry up." I thought I could never get ahead of her fairies, for they were so far ahead of mine, but I tried hard. Her Majesty told me to call out for the points I wanted. I did, but it came out something so different that it amused her a great deal. I had no idea how long we were playing this game. We counted who came next, and that was one of my fairies, so Her Majesty said to me, "I was sure you could not beat me, as no one could. Seeing that yours are next to mine, I will give you the present just the same." While she was saying this, she told a servant girl to bring her some embroidered handkerchiefs. This girl brought several colored ones to her, and she asked me what color I preferred. She handed me a pink one and a pale blue one, all embroidered with purple wisteria, and said, "These two are the best, and I want you to take them." I was going to thank her by bowing to the ground, but I found that my legs could not move. I tried hard and succeeded finally, with difficulty. Her Majesty laughed very heartily at me, and said, "You see, you are not accustomed to standing up so long, and you cannot bend your knees any more." Although my legs were sore, I thought I had better not show it, but smiled and told her that it was nothing, only my legs were a little stiff, that was all. She said, "You must go and sit on the veranda and rest a minute." I was only too glad to sit down, so I went to the veranda and found the Young Empress sitting there with several court ladies. The Young Empress said, "You must be tired standing so long. Come and sit near me." My legs were very stiff and my back was tired. Of course, Her Majesty did not know how uncomfortable we were while she was sitting on her cozy throne. Foreign attire is out of the question for the Imperial Palace of Peking. I had hoped that Her Majesty would tell us to change into our Manchu gowns. I noticed that she asked many questions every day about foreign costumes, and she said, "The foreign costume is not any prettier than ours, and I should say they must be quite uncomfortable round one's waist. I wouldn't be squeezed that way for anything." Although she was saying such things, she did not suggest that we should give them up, so we had to wait patiently for her orders. The Young Empress took her watch out of her pocket and said to me, "This game has lasted just 2 hours." I said to her that it seemed to me longer than that. While we were standing, I saw our own eunuchs bringing 4 round boxes, made of thin board, carried at each end of bamboo poles. They put them down near where we sat, and one of them brought me a cup of tea. When my mother and sister came, the same eunuch brought another 2 cups, and there were several court ladies talking with us. This eunuch did not give them any. I noticed at the other end of this long veranda there were another 2 boxes, exactly the same as these, and a big tall eunuch made tea and brought it to the Young Empress in a yellow porcelain cup, with a silver saucer and a silver top cover. He did not give any to the others. I was puzzled when one of the court ladies sitting next to me said, "Would you mind telling Wang, our head eunuch, to give me a cup of your tea, just to save me the trouble to go and get it from the small room at the end of this long veranda?" I gave her such a surprised look, for I did not know that this was our tea, but I thought I'd just tell Wang to bring her a cup, and find out afterwards the reason, for I would give anything in the world rather than appear ignorant before those people. While we were talking, Her Majesty came out. Before she reached the veranda, I got up and told the Young Empress that Her Majesty was coming. I saw her first because I sat facing her back hole. Her Majesty said to us all, "It is almost 3 o'clock now, and I am going to rest a while. Let us leave here." We all stood in a line for her to enter her chair, and then we went to ours. It was quite a fast ride, and we got out of our chairs before arriving at the courtyard of her own palace. We walked ahead of her chair and formed into another line for her to alight. She walked to her bedroom and we all followed. A eunuch brought her a cup of hot water and another brought a bowl of sugar. She took her golden spoon and took 2 teaspoonfuls of sugar and put it into her cup of hot water and drank it very slowly. She said, "You know, before one goes to sleep or ever lies down, sugar water will quiet one's nerves. I always take it and find it very good indeed." She took the flowers off from her headdress and I fixed them back in their boxes at once, and placed them in the jewel room.